Hi, I'm Alvina Ling,
And I'm Grace Lynn.
and we're book friends.
Forever!
We're childhood friends,
Who grew up to be
a children's book editor.
and an author and illustrator. Yay!
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the Spain trip episode.
And check out our website, bookfriendsforever.com, and our Instagram handle at bookfriendsforever_podcast. Alvina, how have you been? We're going to talk more about how have you been, but maybe give a little small tidbit.
I've been great, just recovering from my trip, which, yes, we'll talk about on this episode. I'm not only a little bit jet lagged. I have to say the jet lag helped me when I'm going, but it's a little bit harder coming here, mainly because like we got back Sunday, and then I had to go into the office on Monday. Um, but I feel really great and kind of relaxed. Although now I'm a little hectic getting ready for my Burrow lecture, which is not quite done, but more than halfway done. This is Wednesday. I have
Yeah.
4 more days, 3 more days. I mean, it is just going to be a more anecdotal, so I do feel like I can just talk about my books, but I want to, have a PowerPoint and get all the images up and I want it to be good, so we'll see.
Well, I hope a lot of people come. I ordered a cake for you and everything, so I hope
Oh,
they come.
exciting. Yes. And then they just figured out that they are going to live stream it. So I guess it's too late by the time this this
There's
episode
probably
comes
a
out.
recording
But it'll
though.
probably be a recording. But I
Yeah.
think we're gonna, email out the link if people are not in the
So
area but
people
want to
won't
see
get the
it.
cake.
Right. Yummy cake. Yeah, but other than that, I'm just, I went for a run, yesterday, and I'm like really sore, and so I'm a little worried about my half marathon next weekend, but it's okay. I'll just go slow. It's very hot in New York, I will say, too, today. It's like 80, it's in the 80s. It's a little too hot. I don't know. How is it really
Yeah, it's
warm?
hot here too. It's really bonkers because yeah, it was like 50 and then all of a sudden today it's like 80 degrees. We're like, what's going on? So
Right. It was in the 50s when we got back on Sunday, and then yesterday, or Monday and Tuesday and today were all really warm. So anyway, I guess spring summer is here.
I know. I feel like it's like this every year. There's no real spring. It's just kind of like a warmer winter and then all of a sudden it's like 80 degrees. Like,
Yeah.
welcome to summer.
Although this winter was really cold and really
Yeah, that's
snowy.
true.
It's just wild, wild weather.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
true.
it's been a couple weeks, but how have you been?
Good. I've been really working hard on the paintings for Ling and Ting, ready for school, which will come out in 2028, 2027. Who knows? 2027.
27. Yes, summer
Fall
27.
2027.
Will be
Uh,
summer leading up to, back to
yes.
school.
But the reason why I'm working so hard is because next week I won't get to work at all on it because I'm going to be in New York all next week.
Yay.
Um, So, because we're taking Hazel to see Hamilton, and I have some school visits that I have to go to that were canceled in the winter because of the
The storm.
snowstorms
Yeah.
and a bunch of other things. So all week I'll be in New York. But these last couple weeks have been really busy. I've been practicing my dance for
Oh
Friday.
yeah, I'm so excited.
I think it's gonna be fun. Actually, we're having a really good time, Alex and I. And I was like, oh, we should take dance classes, afterwards too. It'll be super fun. But we can't really find any like K-pop dance classes. And so I'm like, the closest thing is hip hop dancing. And I was like, I don't know if we're cool enough for hip hop
Sure
dancing
you
though.
are.
And also, I don't know if it's not the same because it's like in a group. And I'm like, this is different because it's just the two of us. So I don't know. We'll just get through this first and then figure it out. And so I've been trying to be more open-minded about doing things like this year, like I said, I've been trying to be more open about things, adventure. And that includes, I know it's very weird, but includes like watching TV and stuff. So that's why I'm watching Ted Lasso with the family. And we went to go see a comedy show We went to go see I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. I'm so sorry. Akataksuka. Have you heard of her?
I
She's
have.
got
I
the
mean,
big
I've seen
bowl.
her. Yeah, I've seen her videos, and
Yeah,
she
she's
seems really funny.
hilarious. She was really, really funny. Like, I actually did not know that much about her, but Alex, who loves comedy shows and loves comedians, he had seen a lot of her things online. He's like, "You're gonna really like her. You're gonna like her." So when we heard that she was coming to Amherst, we went and we brought Hazel too. Um, and I was really nervous about bringing Hazel because I'm like, is she going to be like Margaret Cho? Because Margaret Cho is really
Hmm.
raunchy. And I was like, I'm bringing my 13-year-old daughter. Like, is she going to get really raunchy? He's like, no, 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 she's not that way. And she wasn't. She was, I mean, there was a lot of things that were like, oh, wow, but like not anything that was too, like, she talks about her schizophrenic mother and stuff like that. Like, maybe a little dark, but not
Not
like
raunchy.
raunchy. But the problem was the opener was really raunchy.
Uh,
And I was like looking at her, I'm like, uh-oh, cover your ears.
I mean, when we were 12, we were reading Stephen King and
I
V.C.
know.
Andrews. It's,
But that's what we were talking about on the car ride home. It's just like, I already I was like, I'm in middle school, Mom. I know all these things. And I was like, it's fine that you know these things. It's one thing that you know these things. It's another thing for your parents to bring you to these
yeah,
things.
that's true.
And she was like, hmm. She's like, I guess you have a point.
Right. That's like Stephen. I think his parents took him to see Fast Times at Ridgemont High or some other, like, yeah, not appropriate when he was 12. So, or maybe younger. I don't know. Anyway,
But
yeah.
he wasn't really that bad, but it was bad enough where I was like, I don't know if we should be she should be hearing this. But he was still really funny.
Yeah.
Um and I even went to the movies this last weekend. See
Wow.
how open I am.
Yes.
We
Wow.
we
You
went
don't
to
like
go
movies.
I know I don't like movies, I don't like TV, but like I'm doing it all now. So we went to go see Project Hail Mary because I heard so much about it.
Hmm.
And I loved it. I thought it was great,
Yeah.
honestly. I have I was never I always liked Ryan Gosling. I didn't like have anything, but I was never like a big fan. I was just like, yeah, he's nice, he's fine.
Yeah.
But like after this movie, I'm like, oh, I can see like now I'm kind of a fan. I'm like, oh, he's so
Yeah.
charming,
He's
like
so appealing.
yeah, he's so charming and like he's like the fact that he could well, the puppeteer is also really good too, but like he was
Hmm.
doing all of this with a puppet, like it's just like it was so believable and so moving. Like
What
you
do you mean
really
a puppet? It was a real alien.
it was a real alien. And
Yeah, it was
so,
so good.
yeah, and I read the book. So when we decided to go see it, I bought the book. I got about halfway through, and and listeners know I always read the ending too. I read the ending,
Yeah.
and then I got about halfway through, and then it was fun because then I was like about a third. I didn't know what happened, so it was kind of fun to see it on screen that way.
Yeah, I had forgotten the ending when I was watching it, so I couldn't
Oh,
remember.
really?
Yeah, like I actually, well, we won't do spoilers, but I had forgotten what happened at the very end, so that was a nice surprise. And then I
Yeah,
remembered it when it happened. But yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I was really charmed by it. I really hope the author is not a horrible person.
Oh, I don't
I
think he
feel like
is. I
I
don't think
feel
he
like all
is.
these you fall in love with these books and these authors, and then you're like, this person's a jerk, and you're like, oh,
No, our marketing director Emily, she said she's seen him at various like conventions, and
uh-huh.
that that he is kind of the character, the main character. So if you've
Oh,
seen The
okay.
Martian, so I think
Huh.
he's a little nerdy, funny,
That's
that.
fine. Like
Yeah.
nerdy fun. Like just like
Yeah.
please just don't be like a serial like
No.
harasser. Like,
No. I don't think that's his reputation. So.
okay, good. Then I'm a fan of the author too then. Anyway, so, just like we did when I got back from China and Taiwan and Hong Kong, we thought we would dedicate this entire episode to Alvina's trip to Spain. So,
Yay.
yay! Welcome back. You look
Thank
very
you.
tan, which I think means you had probably a great trip.
Yeah, it was the weather was amazing. It was not too hot, not too cold. I mean, some days it felt warmer, but yeah, it
Okay,
was
so
really nice.
give us a little like
Like highlight of, okay.
itinerary overview.
So, on April 1st, which was a Wednesday, we flew down to Atlanta first, actually, and then we saw you,
Yes.
which was fun. So we flew down to stay with Alex and Zin and Gray, who live in Decatur, and you happened to be there on school visits. So I know you came over for dinner, which was fun. And then the next evening, we flew to Madrid. So actually, it was nice because we had we had Thursday in Decatur, and so we like walked around. I got a manicure, pedicure, and um, so we arrived in Madrid on Friday afternoon, and we stayed in Madrid till Tuesday, and then we took a train to Barcelona, and then we flew back on Sunday. So it was overall about maybe 10 days
So
total.
Madrid first and then Barcelona.
Yes.
Which place did you like better?
So this was our first time in Madrid, and I had been to Barcelona twice before, so I knew I loved Barcelona. I think because maybe it's also because of the soccer rivalry. I wasn't expecting to like Madrid as much as I
Uh-huh.
did. So I did love Madrid. I do love Barcelona more though. I think Madrid felt. Have you been to either?
I haven't been to Spain ever.
Okay, so Madrid felt more like the Upper East Side, Upper West Side in New York to me. Like it
Mhm.
just, I mean, obviously there were some very old places, but it just felt a little like shinier and newer. And
Mhm.
so whereas Barcelona to me has so much more character and and maybe it's also where we stayed. So we stayed in Barcelona. We stay with our friends Donna and Danielle, and they live in the Gothic quarter. And so it's like really old. There are these like Roman-esque ruins there. It just and like really narrow alleyways. And so I think that's where we mainly spent our time. Whereas Madrid, we were in a little more of a like I don't know, city little modern city location. So
I
yeah.
remember at one point you guys were thinking that you might get a place in Barcelona as your second home.
Yeah. I mean, definitely I mean, I feel like every time you travel, you always wonder, like, could I live here? And I definitely could. And yeah, I could still would love to. Who knows? Maybe someday we were like, okay, when could I actually retire and do that? It was like maybe at age 65.
Okay, so what did you do in Madrid? So,
Yes, so Madrid. So Alex, I had mentioned we're traveling with our friend Alex and then her two kids who are Steven's bio kids, Zin. So first I should mention that this trip was it was kind of for Zin's 13th birthday. So Zin actually turned 13 on Friday. And so
on the airplane,
on the airplane,
I saw the pictures on
yeah,
Instagram.
so Stephen had asked the flight attendants as a surprise and said, he's turning 13 like at midnight. And they're like, yes, we're on it. So at midnight, and it was funny because about 10 minutes till midnight, Zin was getting ready to go to sleep. And Stephen's like, "Oh, you should just stay up till midnight." And so he did. But he was still surprised. I said, "Did you
Oh,
guess something was going to happen when Stephen said that?" He said, "No."
that's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, they brought him like I think it was a cheesecake and and some cookies, and so that was nice. So and Alex has a former colleague friend who actually lives in Madrid and whose partner is from Spain and Madrid. So we met up with them, and they have I don't know how old their son is. I think maybe 11. So, they kind of showed us around. And so we arrived. So the Friday was Good Friday. And, Stephen had read a lot about these processions that they have. So we went to one of the big kind of squares and we watched one of the processions. And I think it was called, the translation was Poor Jesus. So it kind of had three parts, and we happened to see all three parts, like at different. So, these different processions come from different parts of the city. And so the first one we saw was Mary, actually. So it was like the Virgin Mary up, and they have these really, really heavy, um, almost like I don't know. I can't even explain it, but like it's like a heavy, what's it, a church? Like I don't even know, but they have, 10 people. I'm explaining this really badly. But they have all these people carrying it on their shoulder. like an
So it's
altar. It's almost like an altar, like a
okay.
heavy altar. And then they have like a statue of Mary on
Oh,
top
okay.
of the
Uh-huh.
altar.
Yep, yep.
And so it's very heavy, but they have, they have people walking in front of it. They have a marching band in back. And then, but the main part of it is this really heavy, I don't know if altar is the right word, but this heavy thing that they're kind of carrying. Um, and then there was another one where you see Jesus on the cross, and then there's another one where you saw Jesus like risen almost. So, there was kind of three, and then I think they meet at some part of the city, which we did not see, but it was kind of, fun because we're just randomly walking around, and then we run into a procession and, and watch it. Um, so we did that. We, we sat and outside and had tapas and
Aw,
beers and
that sounds nice.
yeah, we went to the park, which is their kind of their central park. We did go see Guernica, so that was really
Oh,
awesome. That
cool.
was definitely probably the highlight for me for Madrid was just
How
seeing
does
it.
it feel to see it in person versus like, photos and stuff like that?
It was pretty incredible. So because it's so big, and
Yeah.
we are the locals got us in. They're like, you have to go in before 7. I guess at 7 p.m. they let everyone in for free. So they're like, we have to get in before 7 because that's when the crowds were. And I'm so glad because there's still people around, but it wasn't like I remember when I
Hmm.
saw the Mona Lisa, you can't
Yeah.
really get to it. But here, like we were able to, stand in front of it, look at it
Yeah.
different angles. Yeah, it was
It's
really
so interesting.
amazing.
I remember when I saw Botticelli's Primavera, like, and we had studied it so much in art school, but we had studied it so much, like it's like in a book, and then to see it in real life, it just feels so different.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, it was incredible. We also went to the Prado for a little bit. Another highlight was going to the Royal Palace. So we went
oh,
inside and we had a tour of the kitchens area and all of
do
the,
they have a royalty, like
yeah,
a
they still have
family?
a king.
I don't know
Um,
anything about their king or anything like
Well,
that.
I only know this because one of Steven's friends from college went to Georgetown, went to college with the now king of Spain, who
Really?
then was the prince. And so they were really good friends. And so they're still really good friends. And so when Brian goes to Madrid, he actually stays with the king of Spain. So when we're in Madrid, Stephen texted Brian and said, "Hey, so can you give us the king's number? We're in Madrid," which of course he did not. But that was really funny. And then there was a big, huge portrait, in the royal palace of,
Wow. It's so
and
funny how certain monarchies you hear nothing about, right? Like I hear more
yeah,
about like Monaco than I do about Spain.
yeah, yeah. I think I heard a little bit about it there. I think there were protests in Spain. And the king, they were not treating the protesters well. So I remember
Mm.
Brian I guess, texted the king and said, "Hey." I don't know. I actually don't know what
Shape
happened.
up.
Yes. Um, yeah, yeah. But the palace, it's always fun to see huge palaces.
When were you seeing is the base was the soccer game in Barcelona then?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll hit that next.
Yes.
So what's your most what when I say your when we talk about your trip in Madrid, what's the most memorable part
I
of
think it
Madrid?
probably was I guess Guernica and the Royal Palace were probably the two, but I think I mean, in both places, I will say we just love just walking. And I will also say, so this is our first time traveling in this way with Alex and Zin and Gray. And Gray is 8, so
Yeah.
she's young but she just was such a trooper. And she like
Oh, that's
we walked at least 5 miles every day, some days
really good
more.
for her.
And just was such a
I feel
trooper.
like Hazel at 8, she would have been okay for like, maybe maybe 45 minutes at a time, but we would definitely need to take a break and and
Yeah. I mean,
like
we were thinking about the other the other nieces and nephews and
yeah.
like me, we have traveled with my brother's kids and they're pretty good, but I feel like Quinn and Valen and Archer and
Yeah.
Granger would not would not have done well with all the walking.
Yeah, I don't know if even though I say like 45 minutes, I think it would have been like a good 2 hour break before she would do another 45 minutes, like
Yeah. And it was really nice that, because because I'm this way, Steve and I are this way when we travel too. We just love to walk. So even
Mhm.
if, and we did take the subway on occasion,
Yeah.
and the subway is really easy to navigate. But, generally Alex was really game. She's like, I just love to walk. So if something's within, like 2 miles, like we always would just walk it.
Did you find the language barrier or paying or anything difficult or not really?
It's, Steven's Spanish is actually pretty good. And then we were with these locals for a lot of the time, not all the time, but, a lot of the time. So, they kind of took care of it. So I feel like the most I would have to use is hola and ¿dónde está el baño? Which I did use. But for the most part, everyone spoke English as well. So
Oh, that's nice. Okay, on to Barcelona.
Barcelona, we took the high-speed train, which was fun.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so we arrived and we went. So in Madrid, we stayed in a 2-bedroom hotel that was
Hmm.
felt like an apartment, which was really nice. But in Barcelona, we kind of split up. So Stephen and I stayed with our friends Donna and Danielle, who we stayed with before. Donna, who is an author, Donna Freitas, and actually her husband Danielle just got his first book contract at a Spanish publisher for his
Ah,
thriller, and it's like a mafia thriller. It sounds really good. I can't wait to read it
congratulations to him.
yeah, so it was fun to be there to celebrate with him. And then Alex and the kids stayed at a hotel that was about a 10-minute walk from their apartment. So, but so we kind of split up and so we had a drink with Donna and Danielle on the terrace, and then we met up for dinner that night. And then in Barcelona was, like basic, usually like during the days, we would just be out and about, with Alex and the kids. And then we'd meet back up and sometimes we'd all have dinner. Or sometimes, there's one night that just Steve and I had dinner with Donna and Danielle. There was one night where we had dinner without them with the kid, so it was kind of a nice balance, a nice mix.
Yay. So tell us about the soccer
Oh,
game.
right. So, yes, we splurged on this soccer game. I will say we debated because it was very expensive. And I remember, we were talking to Don and Danielle because they're like, oh, maybe we could find you cheaper tickets. And they couldn't. And they were like, we can't go because it's too expensive. But we're like, this is like once in a lifetime. It's Zin's birthday. Let's just do it. So, and I'm glad we did because it just reminded me, I'm like, you know what? Like experiences are what
It's like
it's
your dad said, this is
yes.
one of those times when money can buy happiness. Like,
Yes, exactly. So we went on Wednesday was the game. It was so crowded to get in. Like, and I felt bad. I will say it seemed like it was over 90% men. Like, you saw women, there weren't that many.
uh-huh.
And there were a few kids, but very few. And maybe it's because it was so expensive.
Yeah, because it's so expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also so it's a championship. I don't know. It's some quarterfinal. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was an important match. And they were playing Atletico Madrid, which is not their
Uh-huh.
main rival, but
Uh-huh.
anytime there's a team from Madrid,
Yep.
Barcelona like is,
Uh-huh.
comes like does not like they do not like Madrid. Um and Danielle had like taught us, one like song that they would probably sing. But I will say Zin is a Barcelona fan. So he bought
Uh-huh.
a Barcelona jersey before the
Uh-huh.
match. So he fit right in. He knew all the songs. I don't know how.
Aw.
And then, over the course of the game, we also learned them. But it took us like over half an hour to just get up to the gate. And poor Gray was really short, and it was really crowded.
Aw.
And at one point, Gray said, it sure is dark down here because she was like, so at one point we
Aw.
like tried to lift her up. Um, yes, but we made it in. We had really great seats, which was exciting because I swear when we picked the seats, we are up in the balcony, but when we got there, we're on the 22nd row, like close to
That's
the
awesome.
field. So that was really great. And then they lost. They had a red card at the very end of the first half. And so Barcelona was really upset, and there was a lot of yelling and cursing in Spanish. So it's funny because Zin and Gray started cursing in Spanish, which were like, okay. I mean, I don't know. Um, yeah, it was a great experience, and
Aw.
I'm
Yeah,
really
it's like oh,
glad
like
we
once
went.
in a lifetime almost, you know? So that's cool. I'm glad
Yeah,
you got to experience that.
yeah, me
What,
too.
so do you think that was the most memorable part of your time in Barcelona or some or other things?
I think so. Yeah. We saw a lot of Gaudi things. We went up to Park Güell. There was a one point where Gray said, we don't have to see everything Gaudi. But Barcelona is just a lot of Gaudi. We didn't get to go inside the La Sagrada Familia, which is
Uh-huh.
their
That's the famous,
huge,
yeah.
beautiful, famous, unfinished cathedral.
Yeah.
It's almost finished. I've been inside twice. I think it's worth it. It just, we didn't realize that now it's so popular that you have to get tickets like 2 weeks in
Uh-huh.
advance.
Oh, interesting.
So we
Uh-huh.
saw the outside. But yes, tip for anyone going. Same actually with some of the museums, like the Prado, like in Madrid. You have to get tickets in advance, I think we got tickets about a week in advance. But by the time we looked at Barcelona, like it was sold out. But like Park Güell, like a week before, there were plenty of tickets. So we thought, oh, we don't have to buy them. And then like two days before, everything was selling out. So
Oh,
I would
interesting.
say try to plan ahead like at least a week or two before you go.
Yeah. Are there any other tips you would give people to if they're traveling to Barcelona or Madrid besides get your tickets ahead to museums ahead of time?
Um, Good walking shoes. If you, so Zin, it's funny because I guess Alex had packed like shorts for him, but when he tried to put them on, because he hadn't worn them, they were too small. So they actually used this trip to buy his summer clothing,
Oh, that's kind of
and it
cool.
is cheaper there in
Well, and
a lot of
also
cases.
when he puts it on in the summer, he'd be like, "This is the shorts I bought in Madrid," you know?
Yeah. So, I think they were like so if you are so inclined to shop, leave space in your suitcase to bring things home because they were definitely like really, really packed to the gills. I'm not generally a shopper when I travel, but I bought these earrings
Hey,
at the market in Madrid, which are made from an old coin, the
ooh,
SARS
cool.
an old Spanish coin. And then I bought espadrilles in Barcelona, which, are pack up pretty tight. So
It's
those were
interesting.
my,
I think I am a shopper when I
yeah.
travel.
Yeah, you had so many,
I know
you
I
had a
bought
lot
some.
of things. I think
I think
like
I shop more when I'm traveling than when I'm not traveling.
yeah, I mean, we would go into stores, but I'm not. I think also because I pack so tight, um, and I don't leave a lot of space. So, Donna had asked me to bring her two books. So I felt like then I could get rid of those books when I gave to her. So I had room for the espadrilles, but like yeah, otherwise, I'm pretty tightly
Huh.
packed.
So interesting.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about any of the food. Was there any special
Oh,
food?
so the food is great in Spain. The main issue, which I knew going in, is it's not an issue, but Alex and Zin are vegetarian. I mean, Alex is kind of pescatarian, but Zin is like total vegetarian. And then Gray is a very picky eater. Like there are probably like 10 foods that she eats. And so I knew that that might be an issue in Spain specifically. I mean, there's certain countries where, it's an issue. And I just from being in Barcelona, I knew it's very meat heavy. It's a lot of pork, a lot of ham, and a lot of seafood. So that was a little bit of a challenge. Alex she's like, it doesn't matter, go to any restaurant and I can supplement the kids
Mhm.
otherwise. So that's kind of what happened is, like we would go someplace, there was, maybe they could have bread and cheese and that was it. They did love the potato
Mhm.
bravas, las patatas bravas, where Zin like that. Gray did not. Gray basically just ate a lot of bread and cheese the whole trip. And then, if we passed, she had a lot of pizza, like because there's a lot of Italian food, and she did have pasta. But I think because of that, it wasn't as food focused, I think,
Mhm.
as it sometimes is. But I mean, I still got my tapas, and I tried sherry in Madrid because I guess the south of Spain is known for their sherry, and
Hmm.
so Stu, who is Alex's friend, she said, "Oh, do you want to try some sherry? This place is known for their sherry," and it was delicious. Um, so yeah, and then in Barcelona, I had a lot of vermouth, which is it's kind of like a sweet wine. Um, and I did have a lot of seafood. And then the night that we went to dinner with just Donna and Danielle, they brought us to one of their favorite restaurants, which was actually Italian food. So we had very delicious bread and cheese plate and pastas, um,
Nice.
and cocktails and wine and yeah.
So what would be the places you'd recommend to, like if I was going to go to Spain, where would you say like don't miss this and this in Madrid, don't miss this in Barcelona?
I mean, Madrid definitely. So go see Guernica.
Hmm.
Um, and I think, we really loved the Royal Palace, which was not some place I would have normally. I don't think it was some place I would normally have gone. But Zin, that was the one place Zin had wanted to see, and I'm glad he did. Um, in Barcelona, definitely La Sagrada Familia. I mean, from when I've gone before, it's so unique. This trip we did go into the Gaudi house, which I'd never been inside before. And
Uh-huh.
I think that's worth seeing as well. And it was fun to think like, oh, people actually lived here. And that's so cool. Um, on the very last day, I guess Gray, the one thing she really wanted to do is ride the funicular, which is kind of like this tram.
Uh-huh.
And she had mentioned it like on one of the early days, and Zin and Steven didn't want to do it because they were both a little bit
Yeah.
afraid. But we decided just to do it. And I when I we went on it actually, and now I realize I think I have been on there before.
Uh-huh.
But it was great, and Zin overcame his fears, and
Oh, good for
yeah,
him.
and we actually all agreed that it was the perfect thing to do on our last day because you see all of Barcelona, and we could say like, oh, that was the stadium where the soccer match was, and oh,
Oh,
there's the Sagrada Familia, and so it was kind of a nice, really o nice overview and a nice view of the city. So I'd recommend that as well.
is there anything you'd recommend to avoid other than seeing the Guernica after 7 p.m.?
Yeah, the crowds. No, I mean, everything's great. I mean, I just love the Gothic quarters. So I would just recommend, walking, walking through like every time you kind of see a new street that you've never seen before, and then you walk down, and there are all these musicians performing. Like there was opera singer. So at night it's really nice. I would, like there was one night that we had dinner at this place called Avocado, which is perfect because it had a lot of vegetarian options and also had pasta and pizzas. So there was plenty of stuff for the kids. And we mentioned that to Donna and Danielle, and Donna's like, "Oh no!" But it was just because it's a touristy place, the food was actually pretty good. So I think the things that the locals might say avoid are not the same
Yeah.
things that as a
Yeah.
tourist that
Especially if you
we
go with kids. At some
right.
point, like,
Yeah, and they actually went back. So the night that we had dinner with Donna and Danielle, they actually went back to Avocado a
yeah,
second
yeah.
time, and they loved it. But it is touristy in that it's outside, and then all these, there's that street performers
Yeah.
who go around and ask for money, but that's fine.
But,
And it's fun.
that's kind of part of the experience.
Yeah, but
It's kind of
it's
like
so great.
who was I oh, I remember I was having this conversation with my friend Molly and Heidi Semple and Molly Burnham about my trip in China. And I was saying how, like, sometimes when you try to tip in China, they get mad at you because, like, you're not supposed to tip. And then she's like, and Heidi told the story. It's like, yeah, they were someplace, I can't remember what country, and they tried to. Her mom didn't bargain with somebody, and
Mm,
he got mad, and he's like, "You were supposed to bargain," and he wouldn't sell it to her, and he walked away. And she's like, I bet you he does that like once every month. Just he's like, I'm gonna give a tourist a memory to talk about for the year. So I was like,
yeah,
maybe it's the same thing. It's like they have these touristy things, and they have these musicians come up, and like it's like that touristy experience that everyone
yeah.
needs once in a while to remember.
So speaking of, they don't tip in Spain either. And so, if you're paying with a credit card, there's not even that option. Except there was at this place called Honest Greens, was just kind of a chain store, but it really delicious fresh food. And we went there twice as well because they had a lot of vegetarian options. But you're not supposed to tip either. Um, what we did notice is, obviously they knew not, we were tourists. And so Zin was taking Spanish in school. So he would try to speak Spanish, and Alex would also try to speak Spanish, and Stephen as well. But usually after the first sentence, everyone would respond in English. And so unless you keep trying to speak in Spanish, like eventually then they will.
Uh-huh.
But Donna was telling us about a friend of hers who has moved there, and she's been there 2 years, and she's still not fluent, but she's getting there. But I think it's because of that. Like they just everyone starts speaking English. So unless you're like really dedicated and you really want to practice and you stick and you keep speaking Spanish back, then they're most people will just speak English to you. So if you want to practice your Spanish, just stick with it.
It's so
Um,
interesting.
yeah, and then I think Donna would say, don't go to the tourist shops, like because
Mm.
there's so many of them. It's like weird thing about Spain. Okay, I will say, oh, we went to the beach. I should say, in Barcelona. Gray loved the
Oh,
beach. We ended up going to the beach twice, and the
that's why you're so tan.
yeah, the water was cold, so we didn't even bring swimming suits. So the second to last day, Steven, Zin, and Gray actually bought swimming suits like at a
Aw.
shop so that they could go in the water. Um, but there are all these stores. I guess, if you don't want to expose your children or yourself to crude things, it's impossible to not because every tourist shop sells these t-shirts and they'll say like I heart 69, like for example. I heart MILFs. It's just so weird. And then there's some that are really crude and they have, figures and, so
That's
they're
like the show that we brought Hazel to. There's this whole bit about tops and bottoms because the guy it was
uh
like a gay comedian. He's just like,
yeah.
and I'm just like, oh boy. So there's probably like I love tops, I love bottoms on your t-shirts there.
Yeah, it was really odd and I never saw anyone buy the t-shirts, but someone must because they're in every shop. And Donna said that a lot of people have their bachelor and bachelorette parties there and they get
Oh,
drunk and then they're like, haha, this
yeah,
is a funny t-shirt I'm gonna buy.
that
But
makes sense. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, that sounds awesome. It's
Yeah.
really sounds like such a great trip. Maybe someday we'll go to Spain. That's exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
We have
And
so many places to go.
and it was so fun to travel with that family and we're like, oh, where should we go next? So,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah, that's what's so interesting because when I came back, I was like, oh, well, actually, it wasn't where will I go next. It's like, oh, I got to go again and bring Hazel. Like already,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like how will like I'm thinking next year I'm going to bring her to Taiwan. Like, how am I going to do it? Things like that. So it is
Yeah.
interesting how I don't know if it's a bug. For me, I feel like I got over that hump, and then I was like,
Mhm.
okay, now we can do it again. So, but maybe it's a travel bug. Like you want to go again.
Yes. Well, I love travel. So,
I
yeah,
don't know
it's
if I love
wonderful.
travel,
I know.
but I think I like having had travel, just like exercise. I
Yeah.
like having had exercise.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
All right, we should
So,
move
yeah,
on.
let's move on to the fortune cookie segment. So, this is not about Spain. It's not about travel. Um, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe we had talked about the changes happening at Dial. And then this news happened right after that. So basically, I think about a week ago, it was before my vacation, it was announced that Macmillan Children's Publishing Group was basically they were shuttering the Roaring Brook Press imprint, but opening a new, yet to be named imprint that my former assistant and my good friend Connie Shu is opening. So it's kind of interesting because Connie was the editorial director of Roaring Brook. So I always saw Roaring Brook as her imprint. Like she was running that imprint. She wasn't like the publisher, but she was basically, running the imprint. And so it's a little interesting that they're closing Roaring Brook. And then some of the editors are moving to other imprints. And then Connie and like I think two or three editors are opening this new imprint.
And see, I think there's confusion, especially amongst authors. I think a lot of people thought Connie was opening her own imprint, like it's going to be like yours is like it's going to be like Connie Shu imprints, or Connie Shu books or something like that. But it's not that. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. I mean, I talked to Connie and she said, so it's going to be, I think it's focusing on illustrated books and nonfiction. So it's not like her imprint based on her
Taste.
taste.
Okay.
It's basically, I think it's basically Roaring Brook.
They just
That's,
didn't want to use the Roaring Brook branding anymore. Is that what it is?
I don't know. And, I had talked to Connie briefly, right before, the news was announced and I don't think she really understands and maybe she doesn't, she didn't tell me, but I don't think
Maybe
she
it's like
really
reasons
understands.
that we will never know.
Right. And I don't know, maybe it's because they wanted to make it smaller, but I guess similar to like what we talked about with Dial is, because I think I feel like with Dial, they could have kept the Dial brand and just made it smaller. And so with this, I feel like they could have kept the Roaring Brook brand and made it smaller. I think
Yeah.
I'd feel less sad about Roaring Brook though, because it's not as old. I mean, it has a
Hmm.
lot of it has a lot of great bestsellers and award winners
Hmm.
as well. But
But
I
Dial was around for a long time. I mean, Dial,
yeah.
like when I got out of school, I was sending things to Dial, like,
Right. And I feel like Dial has been around for multiple generations. Roaring Brook, I think, is not. Like Roaring Brook,
yeah.
it's basically one generation. So maybe they just felt like, you know what, let's let Connie like start something new and name it
Yeah. Though I kind of wish it was like her imprint. I mean,
well, I
I'm
don't think she wanted that.
she didn't want that. Maybe they wanted to give her that and she declined. So they're like, okay, we'll just make it a
Well, but I don't think, because she has a staff. So it's like usually when that happens, like I think an eponymous imprint is, or, if someone like Lori Hornick, when she left Dial, she opened Rocky Pond, but that really
Uh-huh.
was her imprint because it's just her and her assistant. I think
Uh-huh.
it's rare that it would be a whole staff, right? It's
Yeah.
so like same with Sarah Barley, she went to Simon and Schuster and it's just her and an assistant and
Hmm.
so otherwise like for example, I think like Stone Fruit, it's Mabel Sue and Ben Rosenthal, like they were like we want to create a new almost like a
Hmm.
new mini division. So I think
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Connie, there's editorial staff, so it's it's like a little new little division and as opposed to just imprint. No, and I know, well, and I knew Connie wanted like a bigger job. So this is a bigger job because she's also overseeing the Odd Dot
Hmm.
imprint. So she'll be overseeing two imprints in this new position. And she got a promotion to publishing director. So
Congratulations to her though. That's
for
great.
her, there were in this kind of reorg, they did announce that six people have been laid off.
That's sad.
And I'm not sure. I think I'd heard that I know at least, one really long time editor at FSG was laid off. Um, I think an
Yeah, was it
assistant.
Wesley Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I don't know, but
I don't know either, but
I had heard
that
that he
name has
had
been
been
around.
there almost 40 years. So
Yeah, I
that's
was gonna say, but that name's been like on the
yeah.
list forever and ever.
Yeah, so it's I think there was a art director, I think, who was laid off as well. So I think, whenever there's change like this, it's unsettling for sure. Um, But yes, I'm excited to see what Connie does and what she decides to name the imprint.
Yeah, yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
and
I'd be
see
curious.
see what they do. And I don't know, we'll see. There's just I feel like a lot of people are kind of reeling with all of this news and a lot
Yeah,
of change. And there
yeah,
has been a lot of talk about how, book banning and kind of the shrinking of the school and library market has maybe been part of the reason why these imprints are
yeah.
closing.
Because there was just in I think it was PW, they were saying how independent bookstores actually have been on the rise. They're doing well. They're doing better. So if they're doing better, it's really showing that it's the school library market that the decimation of that that's really affecting things. There's a really interesting article, which maybe we should talk about next time about like uh, why middle grades dying or is because and like saying because Harry Potter made people write really thick books and kids don't want to read really thick books and things like that. So we should talk about that maybe next time because I think there's a lot of
Yes.
meat in that to
Yeah.
go into.
All right. So now we'll end as we always do with what we're grateful for. Grace, what are you grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful that it's warmer. I guess it's spring. It's spring. It's spring, kind of. Spring, summer. It's summer, spring. But like it's warmer. There's no more snow. It will probably not snow again. So I'm really grateful for that. It's like bright in the morning so I can run. So I'm really happy for all those things. And hearing about all these things that are going on in the industry and I know a lot of my uh, colleagues who are authors and illustrators, we're all really stressed out, but I think that I'm really grateful that we're still here, and I'm really grateful for what I do have. So, um, yes. So I guess that's what I'm grateful for. How about you?
Well, I guess I'm grateful for that as well. And I'm also grateful that I think this was you were grateful when you got back from your trip, but I'm grateful that we had no travel complications at any leg. So it's like,
Yes.
and I know when we left, that was when there were a lot of people were worried about the government shutdown and TSA and but
Especially in Atlanta.
yeah, so and LaGuardia, which is what we flew out of, but it was smooth, TSA pre-check, no line. So yes, like going to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Madrid, train from Madrid to Barcelona, and then back, just everything was on time, everything was smooth, and yeah.
I know.
So
It's kind of a miracle when you think about it.
yeah. Oh, and I'm also grateful that no one got sick. I mean, St Stephen, he had a bit of a sore throat on the flight back, and we were like, "Uh-oh, like, are we gonna get sick?" And then he felt much better the next day, and so maybe like a little bit of a cold, or maybe there's allergies because there was a lot of pollen everywhere in Barcelona. But I just feel like. I think I'm grateful. Also, knock on wood. I don't want to get sick before the Burrow lecture, but yeah, so far so good. So grateful for that. All
Yay.
right, and that was the Spain trip episode. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Alex at Paceywork Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcast and tell a friend about it.
And tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast or via our website, BookFriendsForever.com. And please join our Patreon. The link is in the show notes.
I'm Alvina Ling, and you can find me at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And I'm Grace Lynn, and you can find me at Pacey Lynn on Instagram, Threads, and author Grace Lynn on Facebook.
Have a great week.
And don't forget to read. Bye!